the station building's starting to take shape, so stay tuned and all will be revealed. Well, good morning everyone and welcome back to Piccadilly. Now, you may have realised I've not been able to do an awful lot over the last 2 or 3 weeks. So, you know, we are where we are, and that's for varying reasons, which I'm not going to go into. Now, this part is all about the actual building of the station building. And what I've discovered really is that although it's by accident, this platform that I've created is probably around about the right length compared to the real thing in scale, obviously. Now, a 313 will fit into the platform here, as you look at the iPad, and mine will fit into there, no problem. So I'm going to assume that it's more or less the right length. So how do I go about working out the size of the building then compared to the iPad here? Well, first of all, I've got the ramp, which I've discovered that this part here is only marginally to the right of the centre point. So I've just picked about 1 centimetre to the right and placed that on there. It's not glued, and then also I measured the length from here, from the top of the ramps to the top of the ramp just there, is around about 600 millimetres. And on the iPad here, that from the edge of the bridge, about here, to the top of the ramp there, is about the 200 mark. So it doesn't take much maths to work out that if I multiply these measurements by 3, I'm more or less the right distance on there. Now, the building works out around about 60 millimetres long here by about 15 millimetres wide there. So I'm looking around about the 180 millimetres long by about 45 millimetres that way. But you also perhaps notice that this platform here is a lot wider here than it is down that end. And that's kind of deliberate because I wanted to create a little bit more interest, and it gives me a little bit more scope to create this building, which obviously would be starting around about this part. Okay. Now, if I put that on there like that, this building's not going to fit. So what I've got to do is put it on parallel, obviously, with the front edge, and then work out the slope. So there it is. That's the basic shape of my building, and I can work off anything from that. Now, there are some recesses in there, and obviously if it goes beyond the edge of the platform, then I will just paint a backscene to go in there, or take a photograph of the real thing and do my best to sort of blend that back in a bit. There is an older part of the building around here, and it looks like there's been a more modern extension put on this part here. Right, welcome back. Now, I just want to show you the images that I've got available to me, and there are a number of images from olden times of Hadfield Station on the general internet, so I can go onto sites like Google, Safari, Firefox, etc, 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 and I can see those. But you can see this is Google Earth, and the image is quite sort of vague. Although I can make out certain parts, particularly on the platform, I have to then interpret what's going on top here. I can't see exactly right, and even when I zoom in, you can see the image just blurs, and it's probably no more helpful than what it would be at that level. Now, I'm not going to go to the complete length of the platform, but if I just click on some of these, you can see the types of image that is available to me. And again, looking at the building, I can see pretty much from platform height. So although the images are very clear, I can't argue with that. It's what's happening above that is a little bit more vague to me. So what I'm saying is, please understand, if I don't get something 100% accurate, I'm using an educated guess. Welcome back, and you can see I've gone ahead and done a little bit more. Now, in the last clip, you saw me create a piece of paper which allowed me to have the front of the building parallel to the front edge of the platform, and yet the backside was sloping, as you can probably just about make it out there. This is much wider here than it is there. Now, obviously, that has created issues, if you like, how to go about creating the actual building itself. So I've actually done it in a very different way to what I would have done if it had been the full building, if you like. So I've gone ahead and recreated that piece of paper in as a print, and it's in black because I wanted to get I was printing something else. The one printer's printing black while the other printer's printing grey, and every part has now been printed separately. I'll show you the type of thing I mean, kind of like these parts, as you can see. So they're all flat sections, and I've 3D printed it because there's a lot of moulding on varying parts of it, and it's just easier to mould that onto the actual buildings, and like you probably make out poster frames and things like that. So it'd be much easier to do that and put a poster in there. But these are obviously rejects, and you can probably realise why some of the parts have not printed particularly well. So they're going in the bin. But as you can see, the building has been constructed from one way to the other, and it's all to do with the width of this section plus 2 mil. So as I go along, I measure the width of this sort of plate and then just build off that. Now, these end parts, as I said, 2 mil wider than the rest of the building, so that I can put a backing section along there, and that will hopefully help create a seal when I come to put lights in there. And because obviously I don't want any light bleed. I may put lights into this section, I don't know, but I probably will be putting them into this part here, and may even create some kind of interior, because there is quite a large opening there. But bit by bit we're getting there. Now, the other part I want to point out is, because of the chamfer as it's going down, obviously we've got the apex of the roof would normally be a bit further over, but you can see the apex at this part here. So what I'll probably do is, that will probably be a complete rectangle for that section, and there will be a long triangle going into there. We'll have to put some more of these supports in varying places, and that will be done according to the width I've got. Welcome back. So you can see I've done a bit more now. I've got the roof on, and just to show you what I was intending there, so you can see that long triangle and what actually turned out to be a tapered piece. Now, I will be putting a ridge along the top. I know it's not strictly correct, but I think it would just look a little bit better by doing that. And I've also added this section underneath there with those 2 brackets. There are some more to go in, but that means now that that part of the roof can be fitted on, and I've 3D printed that bit there. So obviously that gives the element of the dormer. So what's going to happen now is I'm going to prime this with white primer, and I'm going to paint the brickwork. We'll see how it turns out. If it's a complete disaster, I'll think again, but I'm hoping that it should be all right. I mean, bearing in mind N-gauge bricks, you can't really see them that clearly anyway, but I do want to give some indication of what could be there. So we'll see how it goes. I'll catch you shortly. Okay, gone ahead and done a little bit more now. So you can see I've done a basic paint job on this, and obviously that's just a basic stone colour, because I've obviously got to make it look more like that. Now, I'm not going to show everything on cam, because I think sometimes it's just easier to get on with it, and I'll show you what I've done afterwards. But my next stage now would be to give this a whitewash, because a lot of this stone, particularly down here across the front of the windows, a little bit up there, is quite a greyed off type colour. So that would be my next job, and then it's a case of going in and creating these darker tones after that. Now, I am experimenting with a like a Mark II roof, if you like, and so far, hopefully the camera will pick that up. I've come up with that. Now, it is mildly overscale, but I think that does look so much better than my previous effort. And with that one, the previous one, it was over extruding quite a lot, and there was quite a lot of sort of bulging going on over each tile. Now this has taken probably a dozen or more prints to get to this stage, but the tiles do look more flat, and you can definitely see the horizontal lines. So if I just place that over the top, you can get an idea. Like I said, it is mildly over scale, but I'm not going to worry what that will look like. And obviously it will need to be toned down to look like that over there. So bit by bit, I keep saying it, don't I? I'll catch you later. Well, here we go. I've done a bit more now, so you can see, hopefully I'm starting to get the toning correct. You can see all in there, and the black that's appearing in this bottom corner, all down there. And there's loads of things I haven't done yet, so I haven't put these beams in yet. As you can see, that piece needs to go in across the top. I think it's a soffit, and the drain pipe, I haven't put any of that in yet, but you can get the idea of where we're going. And the fact that the window is a lot darker, sorry you can't see, the window's a lot darker there and paler at the front, so hopefully you can see that. You've got this staining coming down the front here, so I've tried to replicate that sort of thing. And a quick look at the end of the building, and I've just painted that up as well. So you can see there, I've just tried to represent the darkness of the bricks and the outline of the window just there, like that. It is a bit difficult to see what's going on there because this is the only view I have of this end wall. And if I come further back this way, actually it's more hidden by trees, so it's even less visible. Please understand that I'm only doing part of the building, so therefore these air conditioning units are sort of off scene, if you like. They would be behind this section in the middle here where it's been painted white and this is dirty staining. I will show you that briefly. One more, but also you can see there's these arches to go in. I haven't done any of that yet, but there you go, there's that staining that I mentioned. So that type of thing, and the doors are all painted up. So yeah, anyway, I think what I'll do is I'll probably do a little bit more, and then I'll probably call it a day for this video, because it is going to take a long time. There's no question of that, and there's so much more work to do than a few hours I've got left to put this video together. So right, I will catch you at the end. So there we go. That's about as much as I can do for this particular video. And as you can see now, I've got the roof on and it is weathered. All right. Now, it is an educated guess where the staining is, but it does look as if there's some heavy deposits in this area, some algae. Now, this part, as far as I'm aware, is much newer, and obviously as an extension, so the roof is a lot cleaner and not as affected by the stains of this section up here. But just to give you a closer look, all through there, all into that waiting area in there, as that was all been whitewashed or painted. And as I said before, this section here, I haven't done anything to it. So there's a lot of work needs to go into that, including an indication of an interior, because this is quite a large doorway there. But there we go. So as I said, that's about as much as I'm going to manage for this. It does look a bit sort of plain and empty there against the pale platform and the also white backscene, but that will change very soon. Now, school finishes for the summer in 7 working days, so there's a whole week and 2 more days after that, and so hopefully I'll be able to get on with it. I'm not booked for every day, so I might even have the odd day here and there where I can just get on with it, which will be really lovely. Anyway, I will catch you again very, very soon here on Piccadilly. Take care of yourselves.